on, do I have this? It'll detect soon, I'm sure. I'm doing this on my phone instead of on my computer because my phone can actually handle this, unlike my laptop, which is 8 years old. Jeez. Ugh. Whatever. Whatever. It's fine. It's fine. Don't you know? It's fine. Well, there's no one watching right now, which, I mean, hey, whatever. Someone could watch this later and just, well, have this play in the background while they're doing something else. On the road, or, I don't know. Anyways. Let's strip this jersey. Now, if you watched my video about my NHL collection, you'll know that I've got 3 Reebok jerseys that were factory customized, and the factory customization from Reebok was not good because it's this crappy one-layer vinyl, which, as you can see, there's folds in it. There's folds in it. I don't throw my jerseys on the ground. This is from hanging it up. That's ridiculous, so that's why I'm going to strip this, and also 2 jerseys over there. It's so weird seeing this be mirrored here. Strip these and have them be sent off to be professionally done, because this is crap. This is absolute crap. So we are going to do a little bit of TLC. Got my little stripper here, right here. And, yeah, it's Sunday. How are all you doing? If anyone's doing good, hopefully. Let's get in between these threads and start cutting. I've been doing alright. For work, I did have to go to DC, specifically Dulles, to do training for wheel and tire safety. It was pretty good, you know. Although, the thing that wasn't pretty good was getting sick while at the hotel. That was not great. So, that sucked. Sucked a lot. Never good. Never, ever, ever good. But, hey, what you gotta do? Was at least able to watch the All-Star game from my hotel room, so that was cool. Dulles Airport is very unique. Okay, I don't know how many people here have ever flown through Dulles or from the DC area or even Northern Virginia, but take any and all knowledge you know about airports and throw it out the window, because Dulles is nothing like that. So, now, I don't know the technical name for this, but going around the Dulles Airport are these, I guess, tram things. And, oh jeez, is there a backing to this? Shit. Oh, this might be a little harder than I thought, but at least we got the... Oh. There's another layer of stitching underneath this. Oh, no, it's just the same thing as stitching. Okay, my mistake. My mistake. Got that wrong, but here we are. But yeah, you get on these giant trams that look like subway cars on monster truck chassis. And that's what carts you around to the different gates and areas of Dulles. It's very unique, I'll say that. Now let's get into the meat and potatoes. You know, some of you were probably wondering, why didn't you do any shorts about, like, the Blues New Jerseys, or the Bruins one, or even the Blackhawks Centennial? Well, I'll be honest, they don't really have much to talk about. you know, with, okay, other leagues like the NFL, NBA, and MLB, they've got the problem of moving to minimalist craft designs that don't really have much going on, and yet the jerseys are a lot more expensive than they were even a decade ago, which is absolutely preposterous, but us, the consumers, still endure it. The problem with the NHL, and this problem stretches back as far as the Reebok era, they had a time period which was the late 2000s when Reebok took over with Reebok Edge. They had that little experimental phase where they did away with, where a lot of teams did away with hemline stripes and added all that vertical piping. It's like, wow, that looks really cool, but it never aged that all that well. So a lot of teams went back to previous looks, which, you know, some of them some of them were warranted, like the Oilers, for instance. The Oilers, they were already deep into their navy blue phase because, got to do the dark gritty reboot. This ain't your daddy's Oilers. This ain't the Wayne Gretzky era anymore. This is like the Ryan Smith era of Oilers hockey. And then eventually during, I'm going to turn on a light in here just because this is black thread on a black background. Usually there's a lot of natural light that comes in through this window right here. In fact, throughout all my house, but this was getting real difficult, especially on this corner right here. So that was essentially the thing of, hey, what is your name? Why do I get the feeling this was someone that was just randomly shown this or randomly got it in their feed? I don't know. I don't like to reveal too many personal details about my life, honestly. I'm gonna click off of that. But the Oilers eventually went back to royal blue, which, okay, fine. And then when Adidas started, they went to orange because, people really like this wearing our orange Centennial Classic jerseys in the playoffs, so let's switch to orange because we've got the same color scheme as the Islanders, and the Islanders can have blue. Which, okay, fine. There are people out there who say that one of them needs to switch to navy, but it's a toss-up, really. It's a real big toss-up. So a lot of teams just switch back to previous looks, which some of them are fine. Others, I don't know. In the case of St. Louis and Boston, this is definitely where a situation where they did not need to redesign. There was no reason to. Yeah, the new looks are okay. I'm not going to say they're crap, but was it really all that necessary? I don't think so. I sincerely do not think that either team needed a redesign. In fact, I would say that the Blues redesign is inferior to uh, that that throwback that they had ever since the Adidas era kicked off, which was essentially an Adidas version of their Winter Classic jersey from 2017, because that had multiple layered numbers. Like there was a white layer at the bottom and then the yellow layer on top. And now for both home and road, it's all single layer. Why? It genuinely looks terrible. looks terrible. You know, I don't care if that's accurate to how it was in the 60s. Some things just need to change. And seeing this one layered crap, it's horrible. It's horrible. Like, what were they thinking? This is not good. This is not good at all. I don't like it. And then the Bruins one, well, they're just like, let's take that, that Centennial jersey. By the way, that jersey was leaked by the CBC when they were doing a news segment about tariffs. And now, now it's confirmed that it is going to be a new, it is the new look for the Boston Bruins moving forward, which it was definitely kind of influenced by Happy Gilmore, I would say. Definitely, since Happy Gilmore 2 is coming out, I'm adjusting the camera. That way people can see me. So there's a very clear thing that they were pretty much influenced by Happy Gilmore 2 coming out because, well, Happy wears that style. Like, he wears the Jaguar style jersey that in the movie. Because at that point, when Happy Gilmore came out, Boston had moved to the over-the-shoulder stripes, kind of like what Philadelphia does. And of course, on his shoulders is the Crack Bear shoulder patch, but here on this new one, now it's just one shoulder patch. It's like on this side, it's the silhouette of a bear, and although it still does the thing of where it says Bruins on the home jersey and Boston on the road jersey, which, okay, that's cool, but reverse retro will probably be the last time we'll ever see Crack Bear on a jersey, I would bet. Who knows? I learned my dad doesn't really like the Bruins jerseys just because of the logo. I don't know. He's one of those old boomer guys. When I ask him, worst jerseys, and I bring up the Flying V for Vancouver, he just goes, just a look of disgust. Although, if you go up to Vancouver, they love the Flying V. Probably just because it's part of their history, which, okay, fine. I guess that's understandable. Although it is still very much just gross. Like, I would, like, the White Sox 1976 look, yeah, it's a part of our history too, but, still want it. Probably the worst look ever in baseball. Although, I've had people defend that. There have been people say, well, I like this look, and, that's cool. But, it's definitely a minority. It's like the Chrysler PT Cruiser community. They like the car, but the general consensus of it is that it's still a pile of crap. Which, I guess. Although I guess that brings us to the Blackhawks Centennial jersey. It's just the home jersey. And they definitely played it safe. Now, I do want to get one, obviously. I mean, I'm this deep into it. I like that there's a gold layer on the back numbers, but they didn't bring the gold layer to the arm numbers, which, quite a decision. Collar just being black, I could give or take. Lace-up collar, okay, that's cool. And they did do the gold outline around the logo because I think it was 99 when that went away. Like the 1 year of pro player for the Blackhawks. That was when the gold outline went away. So it looks alright. I do like that, it still has all the chain stitching, although because of an ad being placed here, the Circus Sports ad being here, the 100th anniversary patch has to be put on the shoulder, which that sucks. It really sucks. It's not good. It's not good. I don't like it. I don't like it. I'm far from the only person to say that they don't like it. You know, there's no arguing there. It's just, ugh, gross. Gross. I hate it. Now, how about some good news? The Lakers finally getting that full statement right. At the beginning of the Nike era, okay, so 17, 18, it was just a carryover of what they already had. It was the Kobe era jerseys that they got in 99 when they moved into Staples Center. Or the hell is it called now? Crypto.com Arena? Who cares? It's the Staples Center. I don't it's like, I don't care if it's American Family Field, it's Miller freaking Park. I could care less about the change of the corporate sponsor. So, anyways, so 17-18, the jerseys are very much a carryover. Then, to coincide with LeBron, was when they changed their look. They changed their look, and it's a very mid look. And the purple jersey absolutely suffers the most. At first, they had some black on it, which it looked okay. But then I think it was 2022, they added more black, like it was black numbers on a purple background. Yeah, it had gold and yellow outlining, but not that you could see that on the court. And it was awful. Frankly, that is the worst uniform in the Lakers' history, in my eyes. The day I redo every NBA team's worst uniform, that for the Lakers is going to be on there because it is just tragic. Absolutely tragic. Ugh. But this new one, this new purple statement, oh my God, they got it right. They finally got it right. Why did it take so long for Nike to do that? Were they like, oh, the Lakers need some crappy uniforms, so let's do that for them? That's the vibe I get. I don't know why, although, you know what vibe I get? Nike has officially run out of ideas for the NBA because seeing the leaked images of the 25-26 City Edition jerseys, most of them are either just recolored from other years, or they're just simply reusing previous years. Like, Nike, just admit that you're out of ideas. It's fine to admit it, because this is appalling. Us as fans pay however much every year for the latest jersey, whether it's Swingman or Authentic. I know the people that are super serious about their jersey collecting. Sorry, I need a drink. The people that are super serious about their jersey collecting always go for the Authentics. So, to see this happen is just disgustingly lazy. Now, okay, fine. You can finally have an official Anthony Edwards jersey that's done in the Timberwolves Prince-inspired city jersey that they had in 18-19 when they had Jimmy Butler and Cat. Okay, fine. Fine. But there's other ones like the Lakers reusing the 23-24 jersey. That wasn't good the first time. What makes you think it's going to be good on a re-release? Ugh. I saw the Bulls one. It's a black recolor of the 17-18 jersey, which that jersey is very hard to find. I've been trying to find one for well over a year. A legit one, not a knockoff. A legit one. It is next to impossible to find. What jersey am I wearing today? This is the Bears 1941 throwback jersey from 2010 that I have on. This is an original Reebok, as you can see. Yeah, this is actually my latest Bears jersey that I got. 40 bucks. Somehow I found that on eBay. It was shocking, and it actually still had the original tags. Originally retailed $80. This was an $80 jersey in 2010. Can you believe that? Nowadays, it doesn't exist. $80 for a brand new jersey off the shelf, straight up does not exist. And it's a shame. Yeah, absolutely, it was a steal. Was an absolute steal. But yeah, so the NBA City Edition. At this point, the NBA and Nike might be better off looking into different ideas. I'm sure they've got something in the oven, maybe, or some kind of backup plan. And I know the easy thing is to do Throwback Thursday, but we all know that's not going to happen. Thank you for the congrats. I very much appreciate that. Now let's get into some NFL news. How many jerseys do I own? I've honestly lost count. Hang on, let's. Sorry, I had to answer a text from my mom. She was just texting about the baby shower. I'll read that later. But let's get into some NFL jersey news. Now, the Cardinals, they've got a new program that's going to be happening called the Rivalry Series, and the description of it very much sounds like NFL's attempt at a city program, like what Nike's done in the NBA and MLB, which both programs started strong, don't get me wrong, but then after a while it just grew stale, the ideas just weren't hitting, and people are just thinking to themselves, why not just do something else? Although, okay, so the Crosstown Classic was this weekend between the Cubs and Sox. It finished up. Cubs win the series, although Friday night, no, the White Sox wore their current City Connect jerseys, which I did call not that great because it was like a combination of the Sox and the Bulls. But, I've been a little, I've warmed up to them because they've lost like one game while wearing them, which has kind of brought up my opinion of it. People say winning helps cure some things, and I'd say it's helped me warm up to the jersey. Now, obviously, I'm not going to get one as Luis Robert. No, he's gone. He's going to be gone. Him and, I'm going to say Adrian Hauser. But, if I was to get one and say Kyle Teal, Chase Maydroth, or even Colston Montgomery, that'd be cool. Or Shane Smith. That'd be nice. Okay, let's get into some NFL news. The Commies bringing back some white throwbacks, kind of. Although, it's back to when they were a Super Bowl contending team because the word mark isn't there, and they've got the red pants instead of the gold and yellow pants. But the promo shot, it was Jaden Daniels, Bobby Wagner, and Zach Ertz standing in front of RFK Stadium. But you know what was very strange about those pictures? They're all straight on. Never any side profiles to show that it was just the same helmet, the same matte burgundy helmet that has the stupid W logo. Because, of course, that would take some balls to actually use the Redskins logo. Although, already it's the best uniform in their lineup. Because the Commies look is just, ugh, God. Even last year with them adding the gold and yellow paint, it's still just crap. Ugh. And 10 years from now, when they're long gone from that look, it is going to just age so much worse than it already has. You know, I didn't realize it was going to take me this long to strip just the one on the jersey. Then again, I've been talking so much, so hey, whatever. But yeah, I like the Commies new, the Red Manders new throwback. And I also like the Buccaneers new throwback. So they already have the creamsicle jersey back in their lineup with the Bucko Bruce alternate helmet. Now they've got the white one. They've full on copied the Dolphins, where they've got home throwback and road throwback. And you know it's the original 1976 version. When it's got the orange numbers. Also want to say hello to Base Spartan. Sorry, I've just been a little distracted. Just a tad distracted. Yeah, this vinyl. Look at this vinyl. Look at that. Look at that crease. Ah. Talk about quality. Such quality from Reebok. This is more of a quality product from Reebok, so. Yeah. Yeah, seeing that Bucks jersey come back, that's cool. That's cool. You know, I almost feel like more teams need to do home and road throwbacks. I'm sure the NFL knows that throwbacks to, well, an era that people actually do remember, I should specify, is where the money is, because, well, some other throwbacks, not so much. Anyways, here's the one. Take it off. Look at those creases. Look at that. Such, oh, awful. Awful. And wow, that has not seen the light of day in forever. Let me... get the inside of this. Oh. Yeah, because here, the Steelers, this is a throwback that, well, of the original, in regards to the original, how many people were alive to remember that? Although you could also say it's a bit of an homage to their 1994 throwbacks. But, well, that's its own caveat. Anyways, oof, look at that. So, Pittsburgh showed off their new throwbacks to the 30s. And man, oh man, what, ugh, God. Johnson. Alright, let's get rid of that string. So, alright. So we got some gold and yellow jerseys for the Steelers again. The biggest positive the gold and yellow helmet. That is, yeah, I was advocating them to bring the gold and yellow helmet back for a while, and they did. They did. But this jersey, because throwing back to football's earliest days is a bit tricky because, well, not all of them can be like this. There are a lot that are very busy looking, shall we say, and it just looks tacky. And the Steelers jerseys, this is very much tacky. Now they actually put the number on the front, unlike in '94 where they put it up here. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, right now we got some outline of where the one used to occupy. How'd they do this? I'm like trying to figure out how the hell they did this. Ah, there we go. Look at that. This is just, yeah, now I gotta be very meticulous about my moves. This is, you know, this might be a 5-hour long stream at this rate. You know, I just thought, oh, it's not gonna take long to strip this. It's gonna be a fun time. It's gonna be a fun time. How do I feel about the Bears' upcoming season? Well, I do feel good about it. You know, they actually have a head coach. Oh my God. And it was a head coach that actually wanted to come here. Who would have thought? My wife just walked past me. And, okay, Caleb Williams threw for 3,500 yards, surrounded by terrible coaching. This year, I think he will be the team, finally snap the team's 4,000-yard drought. Now, I do think that they might make the playoffs, or they'll be a game or two out of the playoffs. That's my thoughts. You know, how Detroit handles it is how I'm curious, because, well, Ben Johnson was like one of the big reasons that they were successful. And, you know, it wasn't until 2022 where he became their offensive coordinator, and that was the year where, yeah, initially things started slow, but then it started to take off as the season went on. Whereas 2021, Ben Johnson was not the Lions' offensive coordinator, and they almost repeated 2008 again. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. It'll be, I think it'll be definitely a big improvement. It'll definitely be a big improvement. Yeah, I like the coaching selection that Ben Johnson has made. And, you know, much like And they're definitely set up for a good future. Now, whether it actually happens, we'll see. But I do want what's best for the team. Though I'm still waiting on them to finally put shovel to dirt in Arlington Heights. I saw a video showing that they had a planned seating chart for the new stadium, and it was first shown to season ticket holders. I'm not a season ticket holder. This is just something I heard through the grapevine. And, that was something that was teased to that crowd. Which, some people, people have commented that the seating chart for the Bears' new stadium kind of looks like Allegiant Stadium, which, at the same time, anything's an improvement over Soldier Field. It's not a dump like FedEx Field or Northwest Stadium, whatever the hell they're calling it. Like, that place is a certified dump. That's Oakland Coliseum levels of dump. But in 2002, they should have just completely knocked the whole place down and start over instead of doing the world's biggest redesign. Because I have been to the current Soldier Field, although I haven't been there since the 05 preseason. Yeah. I would like to go to more games. It's just, finances and whatnot. And of course, now that there's a baby on the way, well, definitely gotta, this obviously, the child comes to play. Hey, I had a request. What does the nameplate look like on the back of that jersey? On the jersey that I'm wearing? Now, I'll show you. It's very much constructed. You can see my back. That's what you got. Urlacher. Okay, yeah. Urlacher in orange. That is what it looks like. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah, my little girl, she's due in September. Very exciting. Very, very, very exciting. And we got the crib set up. And the baby shower is going to be at the end of August. It will be very exciting. Very, very, very exciting. Oh, yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it looks like, let's just get all these. Looks like, okay, how do they do this? So, okay, so they do like all this straight and then zigzag stitch. Yeah. Do you have a favorite memory of a Bears game you attended at the stadium? Well, so the first Bears game I actually ever went to was in 2003. So first year of current Soldier Field. It was Bears Redskins. Oh no, Redskins. They were the Redskins at the time. Shut up. And it was a close game all around. And I remember Bears won on there was some time left on the clock, but very much a last-second field goal by Paul Ettinger, who was their kicker at the time. This was a couple years before Robbie Gould. And that was a lot better than the game that I went the next year, which was 04, where it was against the Colts. Now, I did at least get to see Peyton Manning play. That was cool. What wasn't cool is that they got spanked. They very much got spanked. and then there was a preseason game against the Chargers when they were still the San Diego Chargers. But my other one was not at Soldier Field, but it was at Lambeau. The only time I've ever been to Lambeau Field, and probably the only time I'll ever go to Lambeau Field, because it was not a good experience for me. It was 2007. It was Columbus Day weekend. Now at the time I did cross country, and we had this thing called sectionals. Is that a thing in other states? I don't know. Anyways, it was basically, top runners running against each other. So I finished my race, and my grandpa and uncle picked me up. Oh, that all came off. They picked me up to take me up to Green Bay because we were going to see the game that weekend because it was a Sunday night game. And little did I know at the time, but it would be Brett Favre's last Packer home game against the Bears. So that bit of history was neat. And I remember, so my uncle had, we were able to get into this tailgate party outside of Lambeau. And, there was a mix of Bears and Packers fans there. I remember someone wearing a yellow Packers Jim McMahon jersey, which that was unique. The only time I've ever seen a Jim McMahon Packers jersey in the flesh ever. Do they still sell them? Does the Packers Pro Shop still sell them? I don't know. I'm not going to buy one. But I remember I had a burger there, and after that I just felt like crap. Yeah. And the Bears won that game, and there were a lot of not very nice Packer fans. They were saying some very colorful things to a 12-year-old. And, and then Bears won that game thanks to a Desmond Clark touchdown. And also, I remember Green Bay, they had Butterfingers that game. There was like a lot of fumbles. And then when we got back to our hotel, went to sleep, woke up in the middle of the night, puked. Do you like older Reeboks or Nikes better? Reeboks. The fit on Reebok is just so much better. Nike is a little confining and tight, honestly. I'll still wear a Nike, but given the choice between the two, Reebok. And, this is back when clothing was a little bit more baggy. Everything's gotten a lot tighter in the last decade. So something that used to be considered medium is now like large now, although stuff like the NBA swingmans that Nike makes, they're a complete joke. I actually, did the pit-to-pit measurement, so the Nike swingman that I wear is a 48, which is their large. Now 48 would make you think, oh, 48 pit-to-pit, so 24 on one side, 24 on the other side, times 2, 48, right? No, all the way around, at least in old, like 2017 to 2021 Nike jersey, Nike swingman, if it's a 48, it's really 44 inches around, which is the equivalent to a Reebok or even Adidas medium. Like, what? And now the ones starting in the 21-22 season to today, they are a little bigger. They're 23 inches across, which all the way around gives you 46, but that's not the full 48, now is it? That's still false advertising on the part of Nike. Yeah, I don't know why Nike felt the need to change. It's as if they wanted to do, a slim athletic fit for everyone, which doesn't really work. Because let's be real, how many of us are athletic? Or at least, you know, gonna wear it in a game? 0%? So the fact that they have it like that, the justification is probably, oh, it feels more like the authentic thing, but, you know, now you're just screwing up the sizing. You're absolutely screwing up the sizing. This is why everyone's got to buy a size up from what they originally wore, because, you know, not because they've gotten fat, but because, you know, every single maker has completely fucked up their sizing. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And who knows? Who even knows? Okay, alright, we can do that. Oh yeah. Yeah, Nike sleeves, they are just too short. Who even knows what the justification behind it was? As I remember when I was getting into Nike Swingman jerseys, I got myself a medium, and it was way too tight. It felt like wearing a little kid jersey. It was just ridiculous. So I was able to find actually the same, you know, it was an Alex Caruso one. I was able to find another Alex Caruso one in a large, bought that, and sold my medium. I don't know who bought it, but hopefully they're getting a lot of mileage out of it, unlike me, who couldn't, because it was too tight. Like, this is skin tight. It doesn't have to be skin tight. Now, thankfully, that sort of thing doesn't exist on, say, the NHL uniforms, like going between Reebok to Adidas or even Fanatics. But the fact that you at all have to think about that is absurd. What brand is my favorite of NHL jersey? Well, exposure-wise, it's, you know, I've been exposed to Reebok the most, as that's what I have the most of. I'd say Reebok was it was the last time you could buy the cheapest jersey, which was which was the Reebok Premier, and be happy. You know, yeah, you gotta deal with, you know, these crappy shoulder patches, but overall, not bad. Not bad at all. I do like the Adidas. They are nice jerseys. They are a little more pricey, and also sometimes can be harder to find, although it depends on what you're trying to find. Yeah, I definitely, you know, seeing that, I definitely would like to track down some older CCM jerseys. I've considered it. It's just, well, you know, now it's all about biting the bullet and actually getting one. I just gotta get the rest of the little pieces out. There we go. Thankfully, you know, surprisingly there isn't too much shadowing. You know, even to the naked eye, it's not very noticeable. I might go over it with an iron on very light settings. But overall, not bad. Not bad. Alright, now the very, very crooked 9. You know, it just... Ah, God. Not loving this. But, hey, what you gonna do? I'm gonna grab a cup of water real quick. Yeah, I appreciate you, Chen. Thank you very much. It is very nice to chat to people on stream. Yeah, to show off. This is when I was on a work trip. I did get to go to Dyken Park. They played Philadelphia. Nice ballpark. Only the second time I've ever been at a park with the roof closed. First time was in '04 in Milwaukee. Ironically, when they played Houston. That was so. Yeah, that was interesting because it was kind of raining that day. So obviously, closed the roof. All right, let's take off this 9. Take off this 9. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's just, yeah, it's nice, chatting, talking about life, and just with how things have been. Got my dog. She's lying down. Because, it's hard being a dog. Very hard work. You'd think they, you know, how they act sometimes, you'd think they were the ones paying the bills. There we go. Now, I guess, speaking of Reebok jerseys, there was something, as I agree. Thank you. I'm glad that you were able to join the stream. Definitely, maybe one of these days when I've got a better setup, I'll definitely want to stream a lot more often. Maybe not like the extent of like 5 points vids and urinating tree. They do pretty good. I am doing well. Thank you for asking, Luke. It is a beautiful day. Let's strip this jersey. If you're just joining, I was able to get the 1 off the back of this. Now I'm doing the 9. And it came off pretty cleanly. I have used this stripper before, but it was for like smaller stuff like patches. This is the first time I've ever stripped a full jersey. Wow. Jeez, you've been watching that long? Wow. God, does that make me feel old. Can you believe that was 12 years ago? 12 years! I know, I can't believe it either, and I'm the one that freaking made this stuff. That is insane. You know, it is very much it's mind blowing to me. Just the fact that to know that people have just been watching you for that long across from your old channel to this new channel. It's just and you'll meet a lot of people on the way. You know, wow. Jeez, 22 now. That 12. Oh my God, you were 10. Wow, that is just and I've had people say oh man, I grew up watching this. This is awesome. I hope you're doing well. Blah 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 blah. Is this what it feels like to be a nostalgic kind of person? Maybe not like full on nostalgic critic, but like someone that people have nostalgia for. That is, because I haven't touched those lists in a long, long time. I actually remember I wrote them down in a notebook, but I'm sure it's buried somewhere in my parents' house. It might have been thrown away. Yeah. Oh God. Oof. Wow. Even back on the SpongeBob list. Now that's dedication. That is a lot of dedication. Oh man. First I was kind of embarrassed to be known as that sort of guy, but now I've kind of embraced it because it's like it's been so stinking long, right? Like, are there? Yeah. Like, are there people that will say, oh man, you still think like this? Well, no, no, I don't. Are and I do definitely want to try to get the SpongeBob DVD sets. I've been slowly building a physical media collection, and some things are ones that I've had since childhood, like the Indiana Jones trilogy and Star Wars original trilogy box sets. Those were ones that I've had since I was a child. Had those for a very, very long time. There we go. A collection video for that. Ooh, that would be nice. I might consider it. Save it for the other channel, of course. I definitely there. I also got some R-rated stuff in there, like Terminator or Super Bad in there. I don't mind being the parent that has R-rated movies in the house because it's like parents are people too, right? We've got our interests. Of course, try to keep it away from the kids as much as possible. Although, of course, like anything, they will figure it out. They will figure out how to gain access before you learn how to properly hide it away. It's not like nothing X-rated. I don't do that. I don't do that. That's not how I roll. Looks like as if they did it, the stitching straight line and then zigzag. It's very just like looking how this was put together. You'd think it would be a little, Yeah, at least this is just, you know, the crappy vinyl, so if something happens to it, there's nothing really lost because it was going to get tossed in the garbage anyways. Oh, the Teen Titans Go rant. Is that even still on? Is that still on? I haven't been keeping track. I don't have cable, so I don't even know that's on. I will say the people that created it, they did do a pretty bang up job with the Super Mario Brothers movie. That was real good. And then, you know, seeing all the references in it, and then seeing who's attached to it, and also how Teen Titans Go is, all of a sudden, like, oh, okay, I see it. I see it. I also watched on my plane ride to Dulles. Okay, it is still on the air. On my plane ride to Dulles, I actually watched that new Looney Tunes movie. Oh, what was it? The Day the Earth Blew Up. And I did not know until the opening credits were rolling that it was directed by the guy that created Uncle Grandpa, Pete Brungard. And it was really good. I liked it. I liked the movie. Very entertaining. You know, of course, Porky and Daffy, they're real good leads. You know, the twist in there is it's pretty funny. And overall, it was fun. It was very fun. Yeah. Although I haven't watched anything in the theaters in a while because I don't know, I haven't really felt that inclined to go out to the movie theaters. You know, I know right now there's the new Superman and Fantastic Four, you know, a movie with Pedro Pascal, and then you go on HBO Max and there's shows that star Pedro Pascal, and then you're flipping through channels and you see an ad for Corona beer with Pedro Pascal. So yeah, I know the Pedro Pascal fatigue is real. Although the whole thing with him, nah, no, I shouldn't do that. I was gonna bring up the whole thing with you know, how Pedro Pascal deals with his anxiety. A 50-year-old man, by the way. I want to clarify this. You know, having to touch people, which if you or me did that, we would get an immediate call to the HR office. And yet, you know, he's able to get away with it. It's just baffling. Although I do like to joke with my buddy, you know, about, you know, Pedro Pascal being his favorite actor when he's not. I'll do that with people sometimes. I'll be like, hey, look, it's your favorite whatever. You know, or it's your buddy Pedro Pascal. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I've heard mixed things about both Superman, Fantastic Four. They seem all right. I am a little burned out on the whole comic book thing. You know, last year I did see Deadpool and Wolverine, which was a fun time. You know, it had the TVA in it from the Loki show, which I never watched. It's just, I don't know. I never felt in, you know, a need to watch the Marvel TV shows. Maybe I will one day, but I don't know. On my end, there's not really that much urgency. Maybe 10 years ago I would have. You know, I did watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. from time to time whenever it would air on ABC. Although, you know, hearing how there was going to be Daredevil Ben Affleck and uh, Nicolas Cage Ghost Rider. Oh man, that would have been awesome to see in Deadpool and Wolverine. Yeah, I'm more of a DC guy as well. Batman was the first hero that I got into. Yeah, through Batman the Animated Series, and well, some of my family members they are DC fans as well, especially my uncle. He was a big DC guy. He would be the one to watch Batman the Animated Series with, as well as other choice shows on Toonami like Dragon Ball. So that was fun. Yeah, even my grandmother, may she rest in peace, she was also a DC fan because, well, those superheroes were what her brothers were reading in comic books in the 40s. Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, uh, Green Lantern, The Flash, Green Arrow. Of course, like Alan Scott, Green Lantern, and Jay Garrick, Flash. Wow. Oh yeah, Batman. Batman's got a lot of mass appeal, and in that DVD collection, I do have the Dark Knight trilogy. Although how the bulk of my physical media collection started, it's very interesting. So I'm at a complex. My condo is part of a complex, and I was driving home, and I got home one night, and I see this box next to the dumpster, and decided to check it out. Normally I don't do that, but this one I was curious about, and I see a bunch of DVDs in here, and the first one I pull out was Total Recall, the original with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I thought that was amazing. Took it in, also watched it the next night, and it worked perfectly. There we go. So I, went back to that box the next day and got a bunch of other DVDs that were in there, and one of them was The Dark Knight. Had to get that, and then later on I did on Amazon grab Batman Rises. I've also been eyeing the other Batman movies as well. Okay, this is my idea for at least a future installment in the Batman legacy. So, of course, we all know the Batman Part 2 has been delayed to, was it 2027 that got delayed to? Anyways, I always thought that they should introduce Clayface into that universe and have him be played by Taylor Lautner because, listen, hear me out. You've already got Robert Pattinson as Batman. You got Edward. And now I'm thinking of Batman the Animated Series with this, but Clayface is, or at least some versions of Clayface, he's a failing actor, and Taylor Lautner is a bit of a failed actor. So I think that could go hand in hand and make Taylor Lautner Clayface. I think that would be neat. But I know that would be a long shot, and they just want to keep doing other heroes. Obviously, the Penguin's got to be included because they already did. They already had him in the Batman, and they had the show. I actually did see the Batman when I was on my plane ride to my wedding. That's when I saw it. That was summer 2022. And it was fun. I liked it. It was pretty cool. Of course, it was a long plane ride too, so it worked well to put on a 3-hour movie. Alright. There we go. Yeah, so that's all fun. Okay. There we go. There we go. Alright. Yeah, there we go. Okay. I guess I've still got some topics on the screen. So, the Saints brought back the gold jersey. Why do we do it? Are there people out there that have nostalgia for that? I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe? Because it was worn for like, what, one game ever? And then it just got disposed of just as quickly. Although I did like that they, showed off the jersey with black pants and the black helmet. That was kind of neat, but gold, no. No. Oh, no. Now, how about some a 2-for-1 deal? Something that was really good, something that was really crap. Now, the Chargers, they modified their navy blue jersey. Before it was, the numbers, it was white on the bottom, or no, yellow on the bottom, white on top of the navy jersey. And then the hollowed out bolts on the side with the white helmet. Now they've added, it goes, on the numbers it goes yellow, navy, white, and they colored the bolts white, and then added the navy helmet, which is cool. I kind of wish that they did away with the numbers on the helmet because that's not really accurate to the 90s look, but okay, it keeps with everything else. Okay, good, that's cool. And then they bring out this yellow jersey. Garbage. Yellow jersey, garbage. It looks awful. No. What are you doing? Which means there goes the royal blue jersey, and that's sad because I always thought the Chargers uniform lineup was the most complete. It paid tribute to every single era of Chargers football. Of course, had the classic powder blue. Then we, dedicate to the Air Coryell Dan Fouts era with royal blue. The Junior Seau Drew Brees era with the navy blue. Now there's no more royal blue. It's this yellow thing. And oh my god, with the yellow pants. I hate it. Hate it. And then to make it worse, they brought in blue pants. Oh my god, whether it's with powder blue pants, whether it's with the powder blue home or the white jersey. It looks terrible. They look like Detroit. It's the worst thing I hate about Detroit is that they decided to and just have their uniforms be one color. I hate that. I hate that. This is not a uniform that should be monochromatic. This should be allowed to stay colorful and vibrant. Ugh. Can't help but feel that maybe it was a Nike decision. Maybe they told the Chargers, hey, those royal blue jerseys, they're kind of bringing up the rear in your sales. You got to do something else. And then, maybe even change the pants a little now that there's a yellow jersey. I don't know. I hate Nike sometimes. They just make the stupidest decisions. Or they tell teams to make the stupidest decisions. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Now the Browns, they unveiled a new matte brown helmet. And one of the photographers trying to take pictures of the flurry fell into the water. It's kind of symbolic. And it was sponsored by Dude Wipes. It's Dude Wipes sponsoring something that's brown. Like, really? That's the kind of thing that the Onion would do. Or have it be a practical joke. But now, the brownest jersey in the Browns lineup is now even more brown. It's whatever. But honestly, the stuff surrounding it is funnier and more interesting to talk about than the actual product that they put out. Although, speaking of the Browns, Kenny Pickett's already injured. Oh no. God. For my sister's wedding, one of my brother-in-law's friends is from Cleveland, and he had this really coping hope that Shador is going to be the answer for the Browns, and he did not want to answer any questions about Deshaun Watson. God. As bad as things are here, at least I'm not from Cleveland. God damn. And now, the reason why I wore this jersey, talk about the Packers' new throwback. So it's going back to their original look when they were still navy blue and gold. First of all, let's stop right there. There is not one good Packers throwback in navy. None of them are good. With probably the worst one being from the Reebok era, and it had that stupid circle in the middle. I always hated. Looked ugly as hell. Still ugly as hell. And now this one, the helmet, it's very much stolen from Illinois' throwback last year, where it was the graphics of a brown leather helmet onto a regular helmet, which was the only good thing about that uniform. So that was pretty much stolen from that. And the actual jersey, they took this and colored everything orange here in gold. And that's it. That's it. Although, there is one good thing. It puts the Packers in the current Nike template. It's finally a Packers jersey that's in the current Nike template, because their jerseys look severely outdated, still rocking that Reebok template. They're so porous, and they manage to look older than anything else that they're put up next to on the field. Like, why is this still allowed? Originally before that, the last team to switch to a Nike template was Carolina. Although, might be a design on the horizon since, well, let's be real, ever since they switched to a Nike template, those shoulder numbers completely shrank. They're like this big now. It's just horrid. Absolutely horrid. Fans can at least attest that it's not really a good idea to have uniforms that look like one of your rivals. And this jersey still, as you could tell from earlier in the stream, this jersey here is still revered by many people. A lot of people still love this from the Bears and are sad that it got replaced by that striped one in 2019. Which, I mean, I don't mind the striped one, but between the two, this is better. This is a whole lot better. All right. Almost got this off. Ooh, man. All right, here is the old 9 crappy vinyl. And, well, here is where the 9 used to be. Now let's get all that stuff off. Ooh, it's something not caught on the front. Fuck. Okay, let's clean that up. Alright. Clean this up and then just continue on. Uh. Okay. Well, hi, babe. This is taking a lot longer than I thought it would. Maybe I should have just, done the one, Oh, it's nice to talk to people. Yeah. I wonder what Julie's doing right now. Nah, don't talk to her. I doubt she even knows I exist. Alright, got the middle of the 9 done. Whoa. Oh, okay. There we go. Ooh, look at that. Look at all that thread. Ooh. Ooh. Alright, let's get the rest of this 9. I had someone make fun of me for having a mortgage once, which is pretty hilarious because why would you ever make fun of someone for that? That's, mortgage is usually a flex, so it means you own your property, you're not, having to pay rent. But, it's a dumbass commentator, so nothing new. Just, oh, that was Valera bad. Yeah, no, I don't. You can definitely tell with something written by someone with pretty low IQ. Alright, there we go. Okay, good. Okay, we're in the home stretch of getting rid of the thread for the 9. You know, funny how after I finished publishing my collection video for hockey, Taze signs with Winnipeg. Isn't that fancy? Although, I'd still like to see 19 properly retired by the Hawks. Like, it is still gross to see Taze and Kane wearing other teams' jerseys. Like, that's just wrong. Especially when one's a historic rival, too. Oh, someone's passing by. The dog might bark. See, what'd I tell you? Alright, calm down. People passing by. Alright, there we go. There we go. How's the other side look at this? There we go. Yeah, I'm considering just stopping after I'm done with this whole jersey, just because of, I don't want to be at this all night. Yeah. What am I, a VTuber? Yeah, no, it's not something that particularly interests me either. I don't know. To me, doing VTubing all day is no different than being at a cubicle all day, which is just something that I couldn't do.
I don't know. Oh, okay. There's, what are they called? There's companies. Oh, an agency. There we go.
Oh, right, yeah, agencies, yeah.
There's agencies for YouTubers now.
I can't believe that.
I know, right? Like, I mean, there's marketing agencies, there's acting agencies, and now they have...
Well, we're so far into this.
I know.
So far into this internet crap. Yes.
They have contrast and God knows what.
Yeah. Well, I just got a question. I am from Chicago. I'm not from the actual city, but I'm from the area.
Oh.
Yeah. I do have some Blackhawks and Fanatics jerseys. I've got the 2019 Winter Classic jersey. I've got the first and the second reverse retro. And then I've got the 2025 Winter Classic. So 3 Adidas, 1 Fanatics.
Mm. Okay.
Oh. Come on, yeah, so okay, for Adidas, I much prefer the first reverse retro over the second. It's it's just superior. It's got a logo. It's got a logo on the front, which is exactly what God intended. Whereas the second one, well, they probably got backlash for using an older version of the logo because oh no, how terrible. And then they overcompensated and just threw Chicago on the front, which mm, a lot of people consider that to be the Hawks' worst jersey ever, and I agree with that crowd because, not a fan. Not a fan. Oh, there's Maggie.
Oh.
Yeah, I know I gave her her food bowl before I started. Okay. Alright, the number gone. Completely gone. Now let's get this nameplate off, which at least, it's just taking a rectangle off, right? Yeah. Yeah, it's just taking a rectangle off. The Blackhawks and second reverse retros, they are very much copied from each other. Although, whereas I feel it's more so the Blackhawks copying the Red Wings because that Red Wings jersey, like it already existed in white and red, whereas I assume Adidas took inspiration from that Detroit jersey and just applied it to the Blackhawks for some bizarre reason. Like at least Detroit, they already had a jersey in their history that said Detroit on the front, whereas Blackhawks never had a jersey that said Chicago on the front. That was never a thing. I got to be careful with this nameplate because, well, it's red thread. Red thread. Get a Puka beer. He's talking to the dog. Can I pet that dog? Can I pet that dog? It's not a dog, it's a bear. Huh? Okay. There we go. Okay, did this open up? What? What's that?
Oh, I can't believe it.
What is it?
It's basically the crispy, flaky, drizzled in honey, pistachio sugar.
Oh.
Sometimes chocolate.
Okay. Jeez. What's this nameplate? Oh wow, that is quite a thin layer of thread. Yeah, I want to show you this. It's not going to show, but right between my fingers is a thin piece of layer, and I think that's what keeps the nameplate on. These edges might have just been for show. No, yeah, they were just for show. This doesn't even go in. Wow, that's a very interesting move. There we go, okay. Alright. Hey, puppy. Yeah, I know, you're 4. I don't care. You're still a puppy to me. Don't care. Okay. Huh. So that's what the name plate looks like underneath. Very interesting. Can I pet that dog? Can I pet that dog? Okay. Strip that.
Here she comes.
Oh, Nikki. One of our cats got fixed. So, let's go. Okay, she went for a drink at the water bowl.
Good.
Can I pet that dog? Can I pet that dog? Okay, here we go. Okay. Alright. Coming along with the nameplate. Oh. Alright. I'll help her to the box. Alright. Come on. Come on, baby. Alright, let's take your cone off real quick so you can go to the bathroom. There we go. There we go. Now you can go to the bathroom. Just took the cat's cone off real quick so she can use the litter box. Okay. Wow, that's the quickest she's ever been. Wow. Guess you just had to pee? Put your cone back on. Cone back on, sweetie. They do? Interesting. Well, I guess it makes sense. Alright. Alright, let's continue getting the nameplate off. But you gotta go underneath in order to get the stitches, because apparently all this zigzag stitching on the edge is just for show. That sucks. Oh well. We'll say at least there's no glue. That is definitely the big plus. There's no glue to contend with, so no having to dab some acetone on this afterwards. That is very nice, actually. Okay. Alright. Jeez. Yeah. Well, boys and girls, remember this. If you want a jersey stripped, gotta take a lot of time out of the day to do so. A lot of time. A lot of time. Like, I am almost 2 hours into this. Jesus Christ. And again, maybe someone with more experience will be able to do this faster. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I know you can always hire someone to do it, but, well, that's more money. Oh. Aw, she's cuddling up to you. Hey, dear, want some cuddles? Oh. Quantum Surge in the house. Yeah. Heck yeah. Well, if you're just joining me, this is all I've been able to strip off from the old crappy vinyl back number, which was probably my least favorite part about this jersey. I mean, okay, the arm numbers and the captain's patch, it's the same crappy vinyl too, don't get me wrong, but those numbers, oh, awful. It was pretty bad, Lois. Yeah. A supervisor wants big drill. Ooh. That would be a real cool jersey to see. Custom jersey, big drill. Next up, we got this big drill looking fella whose name is Big Drill. Yo, what up, Base Spartan's back. Well, right now, in the process of getting the nameplate off, which, well, it's stitched on the sides, but it was just for show. It was a single piece, you know, going this way, and that's what held the nameplate on, which is insane. It's absolutely insane. There we go. All right. Gassy cat. Well, how do you think she takes all those stinky craps? Always. Oh, yeah. Authentic materials does definitely help make it feel more legit and just, you know, much better in the long run. Oh, you have done well, my student. Yeah, because when making custom jerseys, you do always have to be very particular. Don't just go to anything willy-nilly. Always have to research whatever the heck you're doing. Okay, let's get this nameplate off. I finally got to the part where the name actually starts. There's so much just dead space on this nameplate. Like, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. I know I touched up upon this, but look how much extra space is right there. Like, this much should have been cut off. Yeah. Alright. Yeah, definitely. I know you got a bigger head, bro, but hopefully they're able to have something in your size. They should. Especially with White Sox hats. Those things are always popular, even if the team, you know, may not show it on the field. Although I think I saw somewhere 2022 sales. Of course, 2 and 1 was Dodgers and Yankees, and 3 was the White Sox. Yeah. Yeah. The hot, humid weather. Yeah, I know. Being on the lake, it's pretty humid. Especially if you have a wife over here who comes from a dry climate.
The best climate ever.
I swear, when I'm up there during your winters, I feel like I've got asthma.
That's dry cold for you. You can feel it inside of your nose. All the hair on the back of your head.
Yeah. That Mac Jones nameplate swap. I remember seeing people do that immediately after Drake May was drafted. I will say he does look good. Now, you know, of course, whether or not he'll actually pan out like Mac Jones, unlike Mac Jones, remains to be seen. And also, but I'd say he's got a fighting chance. I'd say Drake May's got a fighting chance. Yeah. See, that's also why I try not to buy rookie jerseys. Just because, well, you know, I always think in the back of my head, what if they don't pan out? You know, it's why I always just prefer to stick with the jerseys I've got, unless it's like a newer style jersey. Probably the closest I got to getting rookie merch was getting a Bears 2021 draft hat after they drafted Justin Fields. Because I thought for sure it would be Mac Jones. And then I got really excited when it was Justin Fields, and then it kind of died after seeing him play. And now apparently he's injured right now for the Jets. Yeah. Jeez, really? That's how your workplace is? Huh. Yeah, with mine, since it's a garage, everything's open, so everything comes inside. Ow. Yeah. I know with the whole changing Mac Jones jerseys to Drake May, I know there are companies out there that specialize in just making the nameplates. Like, I remember people taking their Justin Fields jerseys and turning them into Jalen Johnson jerseys after he switched to number 1. Yeah, Tom Brady. definitely, that is gold right there. That is absolute gold right there, Mr. Tom Terrific. You know, it's kind of funny how the Patriots drafted a guy from UNC, and now what college is Bill Belichick coaching now? UNC. Kind of funny how that all works, isn't it? North Carolina Tar Heels. Okay, the nameplate, all done. All done. Oh, okay. Yeah, I know there's like, yeah, there's various different TB12 jerseys, but yeah, this is how long the nameplate should have been. And this is how long it really was. And that's because Reebok did this, you know, whether, you know, have Kane. Oh, throwback. Oh, you got a throwback jersey, the red one. Or is it the Color Rush? No, I said 2016, so it's got to be the Color Rush one. The one that they used to base their current jerseys off of. Color Rush. Okay, yeah, it is the Color Rush. So, very much what got promoted. Okay. Alright, that one was okay. Like I said, that one was okay as an alternate jersey. You know, it combined the newer Patriot styles with older Patriot styles with the over the shoulder. Yeah. But, you know, as the main jersey, yeah. Anyways, the back is now completely blank. Now let's get the front and the sleeves. Yeah, all those 90s jerseys. I actually remember seeing people actually say, "Oh, I like the 90s jerseys," which again, that's fine, but oh, they definitely scream of their era. Although with changing to the Color Rush, I get it. I get them wanting to change the jerseys after Brady left because, you know, there's the sentimental value to the Brady era with that style. So they didn't want to taint it. Yeah, yeah, it is very strange with the nameplate length. Although nowadays it's not that much of a problem, especially since, let's be real, we're paying up the ass for these. But yeah, the World War II stuff, yeah, the 40 styles, because yeah, you got the subtle stripes on those Patriots jerseys from the 90s, which, okay, I get it. I get, you know, patriotic. And, you know, having the American flag on it, but I feel like it just went a little too far. Let's get to see. Yeah, it is very tacky. And I still stand by in my video on, you know, every NFL team's worst uniform. Like, can you imagine if their dynasty started with those jerseys? Like, if they actually won Super Bowl 31. That just, oh, I can't imagine. Okay, this is a little, man, this seems a little tougher. Ooh, that's a nice combo. The color rush with a red hoodie. Ooh, that's striking. That's very striking. If I had an orange hoodie, I think I would pair that with my navy blue home. Do the Jalen Johnson look. I've got a long sleeve orange orange. All right, here comes the C. Can I pet that dog? Can I pet that dog? Yeah. I've kind of wanted, you know, I'll be honest, I kind of wanted a Reebok Tom Brady jersey. Although I'm not too picky. I do aim for the, the screen printed ones, which, when they come up, it's awesome. But, some people want stitched or whatever. And, that's fine. So it's just, the stitched ones can be harder to come across. And then, you also have to make sure that it's not fake. Because stuff like, especially ones as popular as Tom Brady, that's highly faked, unfortunately, which sucks, but not much you can do about it. Oh yeah, very much. Basketball was the 90s. Definitely when it started to become more of a global phenomenon. Like, don't get me wrong, there were superstars before, but I mean, my God, Michael Jordan took over the freaking planet. He took over the whole damn planet. There's a reason the Bulls are the brand, the global brand that they are now, and it is thanks to Michael Jordan. Yeah. I wouldn't be too concerned. If how do I word this? Well, I wouldn't feel too weird about, whether I don't know, I've never really thought about getting jerseys of players that retired before I was born. So, that's a new one on me, but for me, it's like, just buy whatever you feel like buying, and hey, especially in Boston, can't go wrong with Larry Bird, right? Definitely if you want, And, well, of course, we got, the most cred for a Boston fan, a Bill Russell jersey. That's like king. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. The 50s, and there weren't that many teams, but I mean, anyone that can dominate any decade or stretch, they they got it. They had to have been doing something right, right? Uh, ooh, black and green, and then wow. I have considered some Celtics jerseys, and I did consider Larry Bird. Although, like I said, that won't happen for quite a while. I'm not a Celtics fan, but I mean, man, Larry Bird, the king of trash talking, and he could back it up and still kick your ass. Who guarded me? You ain't got no brothers? The fact that, I mean, Larry Bird said it was disrespectful to have a white guy because it's like, as if you're completely undermining him, and that was said by Isaiah Thomas in an interview he gave when I think it was the Pistons playing the Celtics in the playoffs. And then the next year they had Rodman guard him, and he's like, okay, that's better, but don't ever put no white guy on me. Yeah, that's interesting. There, there are some hats in my collection that fit tighter than others. It's a very strange bit of quality control, especially when it comes to New Era. I assume these hats are New Era. You can feel free to correct me. But I've had that when it comes to New Era hats, one, ones that I bought like from the new. Okay, they are New Era. Yeah, I bought some ones directly from their site, and they fit a little tight. It was a Blackhawks throwback hat and the current Fire hat, whereas I got my Hounds hat, and that was it Clark Street Sports? It was from another vendor, and it didn't feel like my head was getting squished. So I don't know what's going on. Maybe whoever's on the factory floor fell asleep. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what goes on at a New Era factory. Okay. Almost. Okay. Let's get. Ah, there we go. Almost done with this C. Very floppity C. What's so funny? Definitely have to watch it after. Yeah. That's, yeah, the 2021 will always be an outlier because normally I don't go after draft hats. Yeah, outside my 2021 draft hat, I probably won't go for any others. Yeah, we were actually in Vancouver when the draft was happening, and you know, I tried to, you know, because of course, yeah. Well, my body was also 2 hours behind too. You know, I had ESPN on, wanted to stay up, but I was napping when they select a loved one.
I think they literally sneezed and then it was over.
Yeah, like the first round's almost over.
I know. Oh boy.
Okay.
What a nice city.
Oh, Vancouver's beautiful.
So expensive.
Oh God, yeah, it is. It is so stinking expensive. But what city isn't?
I know.
What city isn't expensive? But yeah, I know. I get it.
Yeah.
I would need a real good high-paying job in order to live in Vancouver.
It would probably be cheaper than San Diego.
Yeah, San Diego, that's also a very expensive one.
And
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Ooh, yes, definitely get some Bears gear. Oh, yeah, they should be able to. Yeah, all the different stores should be able to hook you up with something like that.
What about baby bears?
What about them?
Was there ever like a, oh, I don't know, cubs, bears, lions, officially these little guys.
Well, I know NFL teams, they always make, you know, there's always baby clothes made of them. EDP reference. I just came to get a cupcake.
Oh, Lord.
Although my favorite EDP moment will always be, yeah, I just took a mean ass shit in Chipotle, and I clogged that bitch up. He's just running out of Chipotle. And I remember it was also a Randall Cunningham jersey he had on too. It was a white one, definitely Mitchell and Ness. Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, hang on. I did, in fact, splurge on this. Oh, God, yes. Had to. Had to. No regrets. Ugh. Yeah. Yeah, Rogers, he's running on fumes. That fraud is running on fumes at this point. You know, probably there so Mike Tomlin with another 9-8 record. Like, holy crap. The Steelers are like the Bulls. They're just so content on being frustratingly mid. They'll sneak into a playoff spot or, you know, the play-in tournament and then get demolished by someone else. Which also goes to emphasize why some people think that this whole play-in thing or even the 7th seed shouldn't exist. Yeah. Those playoffs, that was so frustrating. I was a sophomore. Oh, God. And of course, you know, all the rich casuals that say, you know, oh, I like the Cubs and the Packers. They were just, beating their meat to that shit. Oh, God, what a terrible time. What an absolutely terrible time. Thank God, he's been tortured with the lack of playoff success since that. You have no idea how happy I was when the next season the Giants came into Lambeau and beat them mercilessly. It was so good. Such a good feeling. 2011 was just not a good year. Like, you start the year with the Fudge Packers winning, and then you end the year with the Fartnals winning. Just not a great year. Not a great year at all. Yeah, if Cutler doesn't get hurt, Green Bay doesn't go to the Super Bowl. You know, maybe Cutler's legacy is completely rewritten by that Super Bowl trip, if it were to happen. I know Greg Olsen sure as hell wouldn't have been traded. Still one of the stupidest things. Trade Greg Olsen for what? A pack of peanuts? Ugh. You know, all the moves that the Bulls make, it's like watching the Greg Olson trade over and over again. Just trading away like DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine for nothing. We're not getting anything in return. What's the point? You are supposed to trade for draft picks. That's why you trade your best players for assets. Honestly. Yeah, no, that Super Bowl 42, you were this close to perfection. That is just, oh, God. It's like the one time of the year you lose, it's in the biggest possible game ever. And something that, well, no one shuts up about. It's because it's the game. You know, if the Bears made it to Super Bowl 45, they would have actually had a quarterback this time. Unlike Sexy Rexy, who just, look, everyone likes Rex, but he wasn't a good quarterback. Yeah, or Asante Samuel with that interception too, when there was like a minute left, because like right after that was that David Tyree catch. I remember they like replayed it like a million times before the Giants could set up for a fresh set of downs. After that pick six, that pick six that Rex threw, I still believe that the guy stepped out of bounds, but I'm sure if I was to look at the replay again, it would show that his feet were in bounds. All right, got the C off. Little bit of shadowing, but not that bad. Oh, yeah, Wes Welker. Oh, such a good player, and yet could never get a championship. I remember when he was with Denver, and Denver got destroyed by Seattle. Oh, sweet. Well, dinner's arrived. I'm gonna stop the stream here. You know, I originally planned to strip all 3 jerseys, but you know, after taking almost 3 hours for this one, you know, this has already been a lot more successful than the first time I tried to stream. That's for sure. Yeah, yeah. Patriots win 3 more Super Bowls after getting rid of them. That is so bizarre. Anyways, so I'm gonna stop the stream here. Have some delicious dinner, and you know, I'll probably take the numbers off later. But yeah, conclusion: stripping jerseys is not easy. Not easy, and it is very time consuming. So I will catch you later, hopefully with a new video out. Bye.